guys, can you see this beautiful piece? This is the final result of our dress, top and skirt. I keep calling it dress. Can you see how relaxed the neckline is on me? See our beautiful zipper. Can you see our freehand princess? That's so beautiful. Well contoured, sitting well, even without a bust cage. Can you see the bust sitting perfect? Can you see the sleeve? So beautiful. Can you see this part is fitted and this part is flayed out? Okay, look at the back part. So relaxed. So beautiful. See the slits of our skirts. This is so beautiful. I love this dress. I'm rocking this to church. Would you rock this? Please like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, guys. I love you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Can you see this? Thank you. Welcome to Picama Stitches. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's class. This is Picama Stitches. Today, we're going to be making this beautiful dress you saw, skirt and blouse you saw on the thumbnail. This is a fabric we're going to be working with. This 100% cotton ankara fabric. I have my lining, the two zippers. This one is going to be for the top and this will be for the skirt, okay, and our pattern master. So let's get into class. Let's fold our fabric. So I have my fabric folded into two. We're starting with the skirt part of our beautiful top and skirt. So what's going to determine your fold is the biggest part of your lower part, since it's a skirt, and mine is my hip measurements, and I added 2 inches to it. So let's get right into it. From the top here, I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch, and that's going to be serving as our guide where all our measurements will be starting from. Okay, 1 inch, and I'm going to connect this into a straight line. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Okay, so from that point, I hope you're seeing the markings. Okay, I hope you're seeing this closely. Okay, so from my 1 inch line, I'm going to mark down my hip point. From my waist to hip is 9 inches. I'm going to mark it again to ensure I have a straight line. Now, from my waist to my knee is 20 inches. I love to use 20. So measure it on yourself or on your clients for you to get the best. Okay, it's 20 inches. Now, from the top, from my waist to the full length of my skirt. My full length is 41 inch, but I'm going to be using 42 inches plus hemming allowance, okay? Plus hemming allowance. So I'm going to be using 42 inches plus hemming allowance. And I'm going to connect all the lines together. I already have a detailed tutorial on how to make a pencil skirt with contoured butt, okay? So you can go and watch the video, okay? The link can also be in the description box if you want that, okay? I can leave the link there for you. So this is our front piece. We're starting with the front, then we'll cut out the back piece later. I hope you're seeing the lines. Okay, this is my waistline, the hip line, knee line, and the full length of our skirt. I hope this chalking is clear enough for us all to see. Okay, okay, so my waist measurement, my waist is 39 divided by 4 is 9.75. I'm going to mark that here, and I'm adding 1.5 inch sewing allowance. My hip is 46 divided by 4, that's 11.5. and I'm adding 1.5 inch sewing allowance. Okay, then you're going to take the total of what you have here. I have 13 inches, 13.2 here. I'm going to be removing 1.5 at the lower part. So I'll just go ahead and mark 11.5 here. You can decide to take it straight down from your knee. Whatever you have, you can decide to take it straight down. You want it to be a straight skirt, but at the hem part, I'm going to move 1 inch from that again. From what I have on my knee, I'm going to minus 1 inch from it at the lower part. But if you want it to be straight, just connect the same thing all the way down. So I'm taking out 1 inch from that. Then I'll connect it. I'll mark it again over here so that I can have a straight line. Okay, so you go ahead and connect from the knee to the hem. If you want it straight, just take the same thing straight down. Okay, connect. Then you connect the hip part. Okay, not too pointy. Okay, and then you connect this back to your waist. And that's it. Hope you can see this. From waist to hip, from hip to knee point, and then we minus out 1 inch at the lower part. Then we're going to go ahead and cut this out. But before we do, we're going to remove half of an inch or 1 inch, okay, at the center of the skirt. It depends on how big your tummy is, or if it's a slim person, you can take out half of an inch, but I'm going to be taking out 1 inch. There is no dart on this skirt, so you connect it back to this line here. Connect it back to the line. Then you add back half of an inch for joining to the waistband. Just follow the curved line and add back half of an inch, for joining back to the top part. That's it. You connect it. And you can go ahead and cut it out. Cut out the ½ inch, and your skirt is ready. Okay, can you see the center hip? Can you see how tapered it is? Okay, because we took out 1 inch from the lower part. But if you want yours to be straight, the same thing all the way, you can do that. Okay, can you see the shape we have? So we're going to go ahead and fold our back piece, and then we cut out the back part. You're going to fold it bigger than the front piece, because the front there's no zipper but the back has zipper, so you're going to include your zipper allowance. Okay, so in order to get that butt effect that helps your skirt sit perfectly at the back, this is one of the secrets. Okay, but let's get our markings first. We're going to mark our 1 inch. Okay, the same thing we did for the front, our 1 inch. So for the back, you're going to fold it bigger than the front piece, because the front there's no zipper but the back has zipper, so you're going to include your zipper allowance. Okay, so in order to get that butt effect that helps your skirt sit perfectly at the back. This is one of the secrets, okay? But let's get our markings first. We're going to mark our 1 inch, okay? The same thing we did for the front. Our 1 inch, which is going to serve as our guide. We're going to draw it out into a straight line, okay? Draw it out into a straight line. From there, you're going to be marking, this serves as our waistline. From waist to hip point is 9 inch. The same thing we marked for the front, 9 inches, 9 inches. Waist to knee, 20 inches. The same thing we took, okay, 20 inches. And then from waist to the full hem of the skirt, we took 42 inches. We're going to be marking the same thing, 42 inches, 42 inches. And then we'll go ahead and connect them into a straight line. Okay, there's a hemline. These are knee. Okay, this is my knee points. These are hip points. Okay, and this first line serves as our starting line. Okay, so now what you're going to do next is this. Now what you're going to do is this. At this center point, this part here is unfold. We've not opened it up yet, but this is going to be a zipper point. At the waistline, you're going to mark in either 1 inch, 1.5, maximum 2 inches, okay, depending on how deep your waist part is. So I'm going to be marking 2 inches inward from this folded part. I'm going to mark 2 inches inward, and then I'm going to connect it in a slanted manner to my hip line here. Remember, we've not marked our zipper allowance line yet. Okay, connect it in a slanted manner to the hip point. Then from that line, that's where we're going to be taking our zip measurement. Okay, I want my zipper to be 1.5. So from this line, okay, I came in by, that's where I'm taking all my measurements from. 1.5 inch. You're going to mark it all that way. Follow the slant, the way the line is. Follow it. That's what will help your zipper to sit perfectly. We're doing here. Okay. Now we've contoured the waistline, and then from that contoured line we marked our 1.5 inch zipper allowance. Now from the hip line, this is our hip line, you're going to come downwards by 2 inches, okay, from your hip point, and then you're going to do the same contouring you did at the waistline. Now for this one, we don't want it to be too penciled. You can do 1 inch or 1.5, depending on how you want to play around with it. Okay, so from your knee line, you're going to come in. I will do 1.5 on my knee line, and then I'll slant it to the 2 inches I came down from at the hip. Then I'll slant it down to the hem of the skirt. I'll take it again. We took our contour, okay, 2 inches. I hope you're seeing this, 2 inches from the waist, and then we slanted it to the hip point. Now from the hip line, come down by 2 inches, okay. At that 2 inch mark, you're going to slant it to your knee line, and from your knee line, so you came in by 1.5 at our knee line, slant it to that 1.5, and from there you slant it outwards, or you can take it straight down. Okay, just watch what I'm going to be doing here. From my 2 inch, I'll slant it to the 1.5 inch. Okay, slanting it to the 1.5 inch. Can you see this? It's already giving us that butt effect to this 1.5 inch. Now from the 1.5 inches, you can take it straight down or you slant it out, okay? But I just choose to take it straight down, okay? Taking it straight down. This, if you don't understand this, take your time and watch it again so you can get it. I'll explain this again, okay? Because I want you guys to get it perfectly. From your waistline, go in by 2 inches or 1.5 inch, depending on how many inches you want to use for your contour. Slant it down to your hip line. From your hip line, come down by 2 inches, and at your knee line, go in by 1.5 inch. Slant it also from this your 2 inch down to connect to the 1.5 at the inch and connect it straight to the hem of the skirt. Now from these points, you're going to be marking whatever you want to use for your zipper allowance from the lines, okay? So I've marked my 1.5 inch. You're going to continue, just follow the slanted line, the way the line is, follow it, okay, for your zipper allowance, and you connect it all the way down. Follow the curve lines, and even when you're fixing in your zipper, you're going to be using the same shape. Just follow the shape the way it is all the way down. And this is our zipper allowance all the way down. So you can choose to cut it out before you continue your measurements so you don't get confused, okay? So I'll connect my lines. Now this new line becomes my zipper allowance line. I'm going to cut this out first before we continue our marking, because I want you to see it and understand what we've done so far. Please, if you haven't liked, kindly like, share, subscribe. So I'm going to cut out what we do not need so you know where we're going to be taking all our measurements from. I don't want you to be confused. It will also help you to see the shape that we have here. Okay, so can you see this? Can you see what we have here? Okay, I want you to see this. Can you see the shape? The waist tapered in, this is the hip, and then it slants out. So now from this your zipper allowance line, that's where we're going to be taking all our measurements from. Now like we did for the front, my waist is 39. Measurements are starting from this zipper allowance line, okay? That was why I had to cut it out. So my waist divided by 4 is 9.75. I'll add back 1.5 inch zipper allowance like we did for the front. Now my hip is 11.5. 46 divided by 4, 11.5. I'll add back 1.5 inch zipper allowance. Now at the knee, we took out 1.5 from what the total measurement we have at our hip line, and then what we had left was 11.5. So you can decide to do 1 inch, 1.5, depending on what you want, okay? Then at the hem, we decided to take out 1 inch from whatever we have at the knee, and that will give me 10.5 inches. You can make it straight, like I said before, depends on what you want. That's where you make your choice. I'm marking it again so I can have a straight line. So at this point, you can decide to bring in your front part to align it to be sure of what you have, okay? So we connect it. Don't make it too pointy, okay? Connect it, and you connect it back to the waistline. So we're done. We're going to go ahead and cut this out. But before we do, remember the front. For the front, we took out uh, half of 1 inch, and then we came up by half of an inch to replace it. So now for the back piece, we're also going to come down by 1 inch and connect it. It's a dartless skirt, so just follow what I'm doing. Connect it to the sides, and then we're going to come up by half of an inch as well, like we did for the front, to join it back together. Come up by half of an inch to connect everything back. I hope you're seeing what I'm doing, okay? Connect everything back together. So then you cut this out. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you don't understand, you can watch it all over again, okay? Okay, so this is our back piece. Can you see how beautiful this is? Can you see the contour? At this hip part, it might look straight. Never mind. When you're done with sewing it, the shape will come out. So you will notch your zipper point so you don't get confused, and use this as your hip point. Mark out your zipper point. And then this is the front of our skirt. This is the front part of our skirt. And that's the back part. Can you see how beautiful this is? So I'm going to go ahead and place this on my lining and cut out the exact same thing, and then we'll go ahead and cut out the upper part of our dress. I'm done cutting out the lining, the same thing for both front and back, but at the lower part here, okay, at the hem part, you're going to subtract 1 inch, okay, from the lining. The lining will be shorter by 1 inch than the main fabric, okay? Then we'll go ahead, turn the lower part first, join the sides, and bring everything out for both front and back. It's the same thing. Then we'll go ahead and cut our top piece. So for the upper part, I'm going to be marking on my lining so it can be clearer for you guys to see. I feel it wasn't that clear, okay? So I have my lining folded into two, okay? From the style, you can see that the upper part, there's a zipper at the center. So the first thing we're going to be doing is to mark down our zipper line. This is the front piece. So I'm using 2-inch zipper allowance. You're going to be marking these 2 inches all the way down to the hem. Please kindly like, share, subscribe. Okay, you're going to connect into a straight line. I didn't remember to apologize at the beginning of the video. I've been away for a while. I'm so sorry, guys. I got caught up with work, but I'm back. Thank you for the support, okay? I've been seeing the views, but I plead that you kindly like and subscribe. God bless you as you do so. Okay, so after marking out our zipper line, all our measurements are going to be starting from this line, okay? So like we do, we're going to come down by 1 inch from the upper part. This is going to be a guide for us to know where all our measurements will be starting from. So we're going to connect this into a straight line as well. So from here, we're going to take all our measurements. My shoulder to nipple point is 11 inches. I'm going to mark it again in order to get a straight line. 11 inches. My shoulder to under bust point is 15 inches. I'm going to be making a princess dart for this. Okay, you can choose to use the normal dart, is fine, but I choose to use a princess dart for this. And then to my hip point, I want it to get to my hip point, so I love to come down from this, my under bust. Sorry, let's mark our waistline. Okay, my waist point is 18 inches. Shoulder to waist point is 18 inches. And then I come down from the hip, from the waist point to 10 inches. Okay, for our hip, 10 inches. And then I'm going to connect these lines together. Just mark from waist to hip. Wherever your hip is, you can use it. It depends on the length you want to use. Okay, you may choose to use up to your hip points, or you may choose not to. Okay, I may likely not get up to my hip point. Okay, but for now, let's just draw out our lines so you can understand what I'm trying to do here. So I think this is clearer and better. Okay, so we're going to level this nipple point. This is under bust, this is waistline, and we're going to use this as our full length. Now I'm going to determine the full length of my top. I don't want it to be too long, so from the shoulder point I want it to be 28 inches, and that's exactly what I have. It's stopping right at my hip point. The full length is going to be 27 inches. So 1 inch is going to be for turning it over with my lining. Okay, so we're going to mark our shoulder from this line. Remember, all our markings are starting from this line. So my shoulder is 16 inches divided by 2. I have 8 inches. And I'm going to be marking 3 inches for my neck width for now. Then I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch, okay, for my shoulder slope, and I'm going to be connecting this. Okay, the next thing we're going to be doing is our armhole. In order to achieve this, you're going to divide your round bust by 6, sorry, and add 1.5 to it. And mine is 9 inch, so from the top here I have 9.1. Mine is usually 9.1. Okay, so I can just mark it here, meaning from my bust point I come down by 1.75 likely. Okay, so I'm going to mark it in order to get a straight line. I'll connect it from this line. Mark what you have at your shoulder so that you can have a straight line, and then you connect this together. If you don't understand what I'm doing, just follow. If you don't understand what I'm saying, sorry, just follow what I'm doing. You'll get it, but this is simple for you to understand. Okay, so from the armhole, you're going to divide what you have here by 2. I have 8 inches here, and the midpoint is 4 inches. And I'm going to come in at that point by 0.75 for me, since I'm a plus size, or for a slim person, you can do half of an inch. And then I'm going to mark my bust measurement. My bust is 45 divided by 4, that's 11.2 inches. So I'm going to connect all these points together. Just 0.75 or half of an inch, connect it in a straight manner to the top part, and then you slant it out. But I won't be doing that for now. I'm going to mark out my nipple to nipple measurement. That's one bust to the other. For me, it's 8 inches. So since I'm cutting directly on fabric, I'm going to be, sorry, it's 9 inches. Since I'm cutting directly on fabric, I'm going to be adding half of an inch for joining them back together. Okay, so what we'll have is 5 inches. 4.5 is my nipple to nipple, then half of an inch to join them back together. That's why I'm marking 5 inches. But if you're not marking directly on fabric, you can go ahead and do what you have exactly. Okay, so I'm marking my 5 inches and I slant it all the way down to the hem of the fabric. Now at my under bust point here, I'm going to take in my dart. At this point, towards the armhole, I'm going to take in 1.5 inch. At this center part, I'm going to be marking 1 inch. Okay, 1 inch. For a slimmer person, you can do 1 inch on both sides. Then the hem of the fabric, this is the hem of the fabric. I hope you're seeing this. I'm going to come up by 3 inches. Okay, I'm going to come up by 3 inches. I want my dart to end at this point. So just connect your lines together. Connect your dart lines together. And then you connect them in a slanted manner to the 3-inch mark you came up by. Okay? Connect them to terminate at that point. I hope you see this. Okay, then what you're going to do next, your bust point at your nipple point, you're going to come down by 1 inch because you don't want our dart to get to that point. You don't want it to be pointy. And then you're going to connect this. It's either you use your free hand or you use a ruler, but at this point I choose to freestyle with my free hand, or you can use your ruler, please, whatever works for you, whatever you're comfortable with. And we've created our darts. Okay, now we're going to connect this dart leg to this mid armhole point. Okay, you can connect it in a straight manner or you can make it a bit curvy. I want it to be a bit curvy, okay, not too curved. You connect it. Okay, now after doing that, you're going to come down from the mid armhole either by 2 inches or 1.5, depending on how low you want it to be. So I think I'll just do 2 inches. And then you're going to connect it also back to this line. It shouldn't get to your bust point, okay? You also use a curved point of your ruler, okay? And you connect it back to the line. Can you see this? Without making it pointy, connect it back and extend it outwards. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I extend it by the same 2 inches I stepped down with, and I'm going to connect it to my bust line. Did you see why I didn't mark my bust line at first? I hope this is understandable. Connect it. So you see this, the bust point is free. Okay, make sure your dart leg doesn't get to the bust point, your nipple point. Okay, then you connect it out and connect this leg back to your measurement. So now we're going to be replacing back all the darts we've taken out. Okay, at this point we have like half of an inch here. You're going to replace it here, and then you add your sewing allowance. I'm using 2-inch sewing allowance. At the under bust point, I have 2.5 inches, okay, that I took out. Now my under bust round, I just love to use my waist measurement, 9.75. I replace the 2.5 inch and then I replace my 2 inches sewing allowance. We're going to take the same thing at the waistline. 9.75 is my waist measurement. Replace back the 2.5 because we took the same thing at the waist, and then you take your 2 inches sewing allowance. You need to replace the dart so your fabric doesn't get shortened. Okay, that's my waistline. Now at the hemline, you're going to be using your hip measurement. Okay, my hip divided by 4 is 11.5 inches. I'm going to add back 1 inch for joining these parts. You know, we're going to slit this open so we don't have shortage here. I'm going to add 1 inch for joining that part together, and then our 2 inches zipper allowance. If you want it to be more exaggerated, you can just take everything at the hem part and then you connect everything together. It's very simple, okay? And then you connect it out to the hemline. I don't want to use everything at the hem part. What I have there is just small, okay? So now what we're going to be doing next, for it not to be too pointy at this edge, I can come up by either 1.5 or 2 inches. So I decided to do 1.5 inch, and then you're going to connect it back to the dart leg, okay? In a slanted manner, connect it back to the dart leg, okay? And you're done. I hope you're seeing this, okay? And you're done with your marking. So for the front, if you observe to the top, the front part, the zipper at the front didn't get to the hem of the top. So it depends on where you want yours to be. This is my waistline, so I don't want my waist to be showing so much. You can decide to come down by 2 inches, but I choose to do 3 inches from my waistline, okay? So this is where my zipper is going to be stopping, 3 inches below my waistline. So you can decide where you want yours to stop. Now for the neckline, you can decide the neck width you want, but I'm going to be doing 3.75 by, I think I'll just do 4 inches for the front. 3.75 by 4 inches. So you can do whatever works for you, okay? So this is fine with me. We're going to go ahead and cut this out, okay? Cut all the way into the zipper. But if you want the zipper to get to the very top, okay, for the style, the zipper got to the neck width. I think the neck width was a bit lower, but one was a bit higher. I think they took 2.5 inches, okay, but I want mine to be lower, so that's why I'm cutting this out. But if you want your zipper to get to the very top, you can use that, okay? So you need to write this down, 3.75, okay? So I don't mix it up when cutting out the back part. So make sure you add half of an inch, okay, for joining the shoulders together. Then we're going to cut. Please watch how I'm cutting this. Cut from the lower part to where your zipper terminates, where you want your zipper point to stop, okay? Then you cut every other thing out. See why I added 1 inch to this, okay? So that when you join it back, you do not have any form of shortage. Please, while cutting, ensure to notch your under bust point. Very important, in case you want to pad it, okay? I won't be padding mine, okay? But in case you want to pad yours, ensure you notch that part. Ensure this part is not pointy, okay? These are under bust. Okay, so can you see our beautiful princess that is ready? Okay, so everything is just going to match up if you did the right thing. So I'm going to notch the under bust part here. Okay, and these are front parts. I can now go ahead and open up the zipper area. Okay, because it's going to be separated. It's the zipper that will bring everything together. Be careful with this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the exact same thing on the main fabric. But before I do, let's go ahead and cut out the back part. The simple way I cut out my back bodies, okay, for my princess darts, okay. I don't need to draft it out again. Okay, I just lay it on the back piece. So this is the secret. This is how I get it done. I'm going to bring in this part, and since this has a zipper, we're going to remove the zipper part, okay, because there won't be zipper at the back, there's zipper at the front already. Okay, so make sure everything is well aligned. Okay, take out your zipper part, ensure the zipper is not in the way. Okay, you can decide to do it any other way, but this is the way I like to do mine. Okay, and then we have that part. I'm going to cut this part out first. Okay, so just watch. Very simple. I'm going to cut out the exact same thing. Okay, the only difference here is that I've removed the zipper part since there won't be zipper for the back. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut out the exact same thing I have here. Can you see this? Now for the back, I'm going to be doing most likely 1.5 inch. Okay, for the back is going to be higher than the front. Okay, can you see this? And then we're going to open up this part. You can decide to open it up or you leave it in a fold. Now for you to open this up, it means that you'll be attaching zipper to the back. Okay, I'm not attaching a zipper to mine, so I'll leave the back unfold. It's just the front that is opened. Okay, so we're done with the back piece. So we're going to go ahead and cut out the sides. So for the side, what I do is this. Make sure everything is well aligned. We're going to remove the bust cut. Okay? Please watch closely. You can straighten this part out. Okay? Let me straighten it out so it doesn't get in the way. Okay, you straighten it out, bring it the front part, align this part, and make sure this bust cut is not in the way. Okay, so align it. You can decide to draft yours all over if you feel this process is too much for you to do. Okay, just ensure the bust cut is out of the way. This part is the bust cut because the back doesn't have a bust cut. So from this line, just take it straight. Okay, that's what I mean. And then you align the lower part and every other part, and then you cut it out. It helps you to be sure that everything is in sync. Okay, don't get confused with this. You can go ahead to draft it all over again if you want to. Okay, now you're going to trim this part. Every other part will align. When you get to the under bust, Okay, just note this cuff part here. Okay, and this is our armhole point, right? So you're going to lift this up, connect it to touch here, and then you connect it back to the armhole, and you're done. Can you see what we have? This part is straight, just it's curved, just straighten it out because the back needs to be straight. So can you see this? Then watch closely what I did here. I extended the back by half of an inch at this upper part because the back is always longer. Okay, if you've done this for a while, you will get to understand. Just add half of an inch here for the back, and that's it. So can you see this? We have our back pieces ready. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the exact same thing for my main fabric. Okay, and guys, I've gone ahead to cut out everything on the lining. This is the back piece with the lining. Okay, and these are front piece with the front lining. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and join everything, lining to lining, fabric to fabric. Okay, you're going to join at the notch point. Please ensure you notch the under bust point. This is the front piece, the under bust and the bust point. Okay, so it will help you when you're putting everything together. I'm going to join them. Okay, the lining to lining, fabric to fabric, and then I'm going to bring it back to show us what next to do, even for the skirt part. Okay, guys, let me show us what we've been able to achieve so far. This is the skirt part. You see, I've turned it with our lining. This is what I told us to give it this neat finish. This is the hip part. Okay, I've turned it for both front and back. Okay, this is the front part. Okay, can you see this? I've also turned it. Okay, all of it like this. So what we're going to be doing next is this. This is the front part. Okay, the front part is one piece. Okay, you're going to bring in the back pieces. You join them, right sides facing each other. You can join them from the lower part. Okay, make sure you notch your zipper point so you don't make mistake. Join them with whatever inches you left on the side, and then you fix in your zipper, or you can go ahead and fix in your zipper first before doing that. Whichever one is fine with you, you can go ahead to do that. And after doing that, I'm going to be attaching my waistband. Okay, the width of my waistband unfold. Okay, when you open this up, what I have here is 5 inches. So on fold, I should have 2.5. Good, that's exactly what I have here. 2.5 inches. So half of an inch is going to be for joining to the waistband, then 2 inches is my waistband. So I'm going to join the sides, fix in my zipper. This is the zipper I'll be using. Okay, fix in my zipper, and then I'll attach my waistband, and we're done with the skirt part. So I'm going to show us what we've also achieved with the upper part. Okay, so this is the upper part. I told us I wasn't going to pad it. Okay, so these are front pieces. Can you see how well our bust is sitting? Imagine if I had padded this, how it would look. Okay, I didn't want to pad it, but you won't know the difference. Okay, so I've gone ahead to iron this out. Always iron out your seam. Okay, when you're done joining, can you see this? I've ironed out my seam. So, and I've ironed in, sorry, my zipper allowance line. So I'm going to go ahead for the front piece. I'm going to fix in my zipper. Can you see how the bust is looking without padding? So beautiful. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fix in my zipper first. Okay, that's the first thing I'm going to be doing before attaching, turning it with the lining. Okay, these are the lining parts. I've also ironed it flat. Can you see this? Iron my seam flat, and also ironed in the zipper part. Okay, so after fixing in your zipper, okay, after fixing in the zipper, we're going to bring in the lining piece, place them right side facing each other. Okay, and then we're going to sew the neckline first, then we sew the zipper part, follow the zipper teeth. Okay, and you sew in the zipper part all the way, follow the curve, sew the lower part, and then you sew up the sides. Okay, for both sides. That's what we're going to go ahead and do now. And then this is our back piece. Remember, the back piece doesn't have any zipper. Okay, so these are back piece as well. I've gone ahead to iron out my seam. Always ensure you iron out your seam and iron it well. Okay, I've ironed out my seam. These are back parts, and this is also the lining, okay, for the back piece. So what we're going to do is this: for the back piece, we're going to lay it flat, bring in the lining, okay, right sides to right side. Okay, you lay it right side facing each other, and what you're going to do is this: you're going to turn the neckline, turn the hem part, and also join the sides. But before we go ahead to do that, this is what I want to show us. You're going to bring in, I want the hem part to be neat. Okay, so I'm going to fold my lining. I'm going to be doing this for both the front piece and the back piece. Okay, I'm going to align my lining on the sides. Okay, make sure everything is well aligned. Okay, after aligning it on the side, I'm going to be marking out 1 inch. Okay, I want the lining to be shorter by 1 inch compared to the front. Okay, I hope you're seeing what I'm doing. So at the hemline here, I'm going to mark out 1 inch, just like we did for the front piece. Okay, mark 1 inch. Mark the 1 inch all around. Follow the curve that you have here. Okay, make sure your fabric is laying well. Okay, and then you connect this, your 1 inch mark, connect it together, and then you cut it out just on the lining piece. Okay, before you turn the neckline and the hem part. Okay, so you cut it out. I'm going to do same to the front and the front lining. Okay, so meaning the front, the lining is going to be shorter by 1 inch, so it will help it to relax well, just like the way you saw the hem, okay, of the skirt part. So we're going to go ahead now. Can you see this? We're going to go ahead now. We turn the neckline. Okay, turn the lower part, and then we join the sides. I'm going to go ahead and do all of this, and then I'll show us what we have. Guys, so I'm gonna head to fix in the zipper. This is the zipper I'm using for mine. Okay, so I'm going to open this up. Okay, and you separate the both sides of the zipper. So what we're going to do is this: you're going to bring the matching piece. Okay, right sides facing each other. Okay, this belongs to this part. So what you're going to do is this: you bring out this your allowance to the right side, and then you place this. You're going to sew, align the neckline, sew the neckline, sew across the zipper teeth, and then you can decide to turn it this way so you can follow this your seam line. Okay, you want to sew very close, okay, to the initial line. So sew across the neckline, sew very close to your zipper line teeth, sew all the way straight down to this other part. Just follow the line straight to this other part. Okay, so what you do is, after turning the neckline, you align the lower parts together. Remember, we took out 1 inch, so it won't align. The material, the fabric has to come up further than the lining. So after turning the neckline, you're going to hem the lower part before you start sewing the zipper part and then the side. I'll do it for both front and back. I'll give it a good press and then I'll bring it back to show us what next to do. Welcome back. Before I turn the front and back completely, we're going to cut out our sleeve. Okay, I have my fabric folded into 4 here. Okay, into 4. So this is the folded part. This is where our marking is going to be starting from, because we're cutting the both sleeves together. So the length of my sleeve is going to be 25 inches. Since I'm going to be turning it out with lining, I added 1 inch. Okay, I added 1 inch, making it 26 inches. Okay, so what we're going to do is this. I'm going to add the edge here, this other part. I'm going to mark down from the top 5 inches, and at that 5 inch I'm going to draw out a straight line to connect to that 5 inches. From the angle here, from this point, just draw a straight line, okay, to connect to that part. So that's your 5 inches. Good. Now you're going to get the midpoint of this your line. Okay, what I have here is 16, so the mid of 16 is 8 inches. So what you're going to do is this. You're going to go upwards by half of an inch to meet this 8 inch and come downwards to connect back to your line. Just go upward to meet the 8 from the 8 inches, slope downwards. And then you're going to measure out this line to make sure you have your round armhole measurements. So you can measure it on your clothes to be sure. So what I have round, this is folded into 4. Okay, so you're going to measure that, make sure you have for both the front and back parts. So 13 inches is just fine for me. So this is where I'm going to be using. Then I'm going to come down and mark my round sleeve. My round sleeve, I do use 10 inches plus my sewing allowance, and I'll connect it. I hope you're seeing this. Connect this way, down this way, and then I want the body to be fitted. Then it's going to flare out, okay, like an A-line shape. Okay, so from the top I'm measuring it down to like 13 inches. That's where my bicep here is. From here I want it to flare out. So from this part I'm going to measure everything I have at the lower part. I have 15 inches. That's how wide. Open it. When you open 15 inches, what we'll be having is 30. Okay, it's too wide. I think I can do 13. Okay, minus 2 inches, depending on how free you want it to be. So I'll just connect it this way, like an airline, to the hem part. Do you understand? Measure, make it fitted to your bicep, wherever you want it to be. From there you just flare it out like an A-line. Okay, and at that part I'm going to come up by 2 inches. I don't want it to be too pointed, and I'll connect it to the lower part, and we're done cutting out our sleeves. I'm going to quickly cut this out for us to see. Please kindly like, subscribe if you're having value, okay, which I know you are. Thank you so much, guys, for the support so far. I really, really, really do appreciate. God bless each and every one of you guys. Thank you. Okay, so just follow the cut you made, okay, and you will have a beautiful sleeve. Okay, guys, so this is our sleeves. Ensure you notch the midpoint. Can you see the sleeve? We've cut out our sleeve. Very easy, and the down part is flayed out. So when we open this up, So I'm gonna head to cut out the same thing for my lining. Okay, these are my lining, my two lining pieces, and I made the lining shorter by 1 inch like we did for the skirt and the lower part of the top. I'm going to turn it from the lower part first, and then I'll join these to my bodies. Okay, so what we're going to do for the top, we're done turning out our top pieces. Okay, you can see this, and this is the back piece. So you're going to join it right sides facing each other. You're going to turn the shoulder. So let me show you how I do this neatly. You're going to align this fabric to fabric, lining to lining, and you ensure that the joining here aligns. Okay, it aligns, and then you sew from one point to the other end. So with your 1/2 inch that we left, okay, join it into the lining. Make sure these joining parts are lines. You join lining to lining, main fabric to main fabric. It's either you do that or you pick the back piece or the front piece, use the lining of one part to wrap it up, and then you sew, whichever method. So I'm going to go ahead, join the shoulder, shape the sides with my measurements, and then I'll attach the sleeve. I'll show us what we have. Hello guys, so welcome back guys. This is the end part of our tutorial. This is the lower part. Can you see I opened up the slits by 20 inches? Can you see how curved and beautiful our skirt is? Look at the butt area. Can you see this? We have enough space here for the butt to sit comfortably. Our zipper sitting nice and pretty. This is so beautiful. I'm going to show us the right side. Can you see this? This is the right side of our skirt. This is a beautiful waistband. The hip, can you see how contoured this is? And I'm going to show us our top. Can you see our beautiful top looking all nice and pretty? Now look at that sleeve. Can you see what we have? Can you see how beautiful it is? Can you see this? Well lined. Can you see our zipper? The opening sitting so pretty. Can you see this? This is our zipper. Can you see? The top is so beautiful. I just wanted to show us that you can achieve a beautiful top princess that without padding it, and it will come out nice. You saw the fit on me. I'm going to show us the back, and this is the back of our beautiful dress. Please kindly like, share, and subscribe if you have value, and I know you have value on this video. Thank you so much as you do. God bless you. Share, please like, subscribe. I'll see you in our next tutorial. This is Pikama Stitches. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Till I see you guys next time. Bye bye.